Hi, and welcome to another episode of Not So Radical. I'm your host, Peter, and today we're going to be talking about Coca-Cola's diversity training, how to be less white. Now, as you may know, over the past week, Coca-Cola has been getting slammed for a diversity training program that was put on LinkedIn. It was called Confronting Racism. I know, what in the racism is that? Exactly my thoughts. Apparently, they had a training program on LinkedIn that has since been taken down for obvious reasons, but is basically urging their employees or trying to train them how to be less oppressive or try to be less white. Now, before we get into that, let me just reverse the roles of that. Imagine if Coca-Cola was like, hey, today we're having a diversity training program. It's called To Be Less Black. Imagine the outrage. I mean, there's already outrage about this, but imagine the outrage if someone said anything like that or anything in relation to that. But let's go to somebody who may actually benefit from this kind of training program. Your commander and racist, Joe Biden. Uh, uh, Over the past week, believe it was last Friday during a Munich news conference in my last video I posted, that Joe Biden openly says the N word out loud and no repercussions. Barely hear about it on news. It's hard to find it on YouTube. It's crazy. No one's really saying anything about it. But let's see Joe Biden and what he thinks the intelligence level is of his Hispanic and African American constituents, voters, whatever you want to say.
A lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccine. A lot of
Yep, that's Joe Biden and what he thinks of his African American and Hispanic voters. But let's go to this. This is from the LinkedIn thing. A whistleblower, had taken screenshots and pictures of certain slides in the training program itself. And here it is: confronting racism, understanding what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist. And I guess these are some tips on how to be less white, be less oppressive, be less arrogant, be less certain, be less defensive, be less ignorant, be more humble, listen, believe, break with apathy, break with white solidarity. Now, the way they say these things, it's like we're taught to be inherently racist and assuming that everybody that's white is inherently racist and that everybody that's inherently African American, Hispanic, or any other race or nationality is automatically a victim is a dangerous, dangerous rhetoric to be teaching people, especially when it's not true. Yes, there are plenty of racists out there, but to assume that everybody, because of your skin color, is less than you, more than you, whatever it is a dangerous rhetoric to be teaching. In the US and other Western nations, white people are socialized to feel that they are inherently superior because they are white. I was never taught that I'm superior because I'm white. Friends of mine, I don't recall any of those training classes or training programs in school, but maybe I missed those. I'm not sure. May have to go back and take a look. Research shows that by age 3 or 4, children understand that it is better to be white. Let's see what children are thinking when they're 3 to 4 years old. This is from WebMD, talking about 3 to 4 year old development. They can say their name and age, speak up to 250 to 500 words, answer some simple questions, tell some stories, follow 3-part commands, correctly name some familiar colors, pretend and fantasize more creatively, and you get the hint. But somehow the 3 to 4 year olds that are white automatically know that they're racist and they have to start doing something about it. But let's go back to some more of these link things. But try to be less white. Now imagine if imagine the lawsuits a company would suffer if Coca-Cola, if they said try to be less black or try to be less Hispanic. The outrage would be beyond none. But this critical race theory and stuff, we need to push back against it. It's a dangerous rhetoric to be teaching people. I can't say it enough. But on that note, don't forget, guys, be less white. That'll be it for Not So Radical today. And if you liked what you heard, didn't like what you heard, please comment, subscribe, tell me what your thoughts, tell me what you want to hear. Let's get into it. Let's dive deep into this stuff. Let's try to push back against this stuff. And on that note, have a nice weekend.